All right, I just saw your note there, Captain. Captain requested the If song. If you donate, I will. If you put a donation with a message, I'll try to meet your request. $20. Thank you very much. Love33, thank you very much as well. God bless you. You guys don't even understand how the timing is. You guys listened to my commentary earlier. I talked about what's happening on Fox News Network, the conservative voices, the throttling of free speech, and the Google AdSense program. Google is actually coming against all conservative voices. If you do a search on YouTube, you'll see the last 2 weeks it's been brutal. Brutal. Thank you guys. I'm going to play the If song here for the request. Mr. Mibabak, thank you very much. He says expose the criminals for who they are, post all pictures, make their identities public so they are held responsible for this behavior. Amen. I agree. God bless you. All right, for the request, I will cut away here to play the request of the Obama If song. Everybody loves that song. So hold tight. It'll only be a minute. If something breaks, I'll cut right back. Don't worry. This is the Trumpet News theme song. Trumpet News theme song.
If we fall for, you know, a bunch of ding ding pong 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 pong
Twitter, tweet.
Sounds provocative, tweets funny. Sounds provocative, tweets funny. Sounds provocative, tweets funny. Sounds
spit it out.
Tweets funny. Sounds provocative, tweets funny.
Bing, bing. No, she's got this goofy friend. She's a basket case. Donald Trump. Oh, boy. Goofus.
Porky Pig. That's all, folks.
You're not proud because you're covering your face.
Do you have any comments?
Why are you covering your face?
Yeah, why don't you show your face? If you were really proud of what you're doing, you'd show your face.
Divorce and the level of mental illness
really
apparently
proud,
you have to be to
why
be
do
a
you have
listener?
comments on somebody's private matter? It's their private matter, so what's your big deal?
Get his plates! Get his plates! Get his plates!
Oh, you can identify him?
Yeah, what are you going to do, gang stalk the guy?
You don't like somebody saying take off your masks?
You're really that mean? These people, they want to get his plate for what? To vandalize his car?
Tolerant left.
Mean people? Give me a break.
Tommy wagon.
Bunch of meanies.
Even red. There's blue ones too. They would never...
Taking his toys and going home. I'm going home.
I'm honestly, sincerely trying to have open dialogue and find out what happened where did the system go wrong with them to where they just want to throw it down the drain? You know, what
Too much
happened?
TV.
Keep going.
Or is it just that they're
Actually,
all
Facebook
there
came
is-
out today and said that they are actually created to find people who are emotionally unstable and then persuade them into a certain form of thinking, which is apparently communism. Important targets. Who are you targeting? Who are you targeting, sir?
Not the residue of it.
You're fucking a white male!
You need to get out.
Shut the fuck up!
How many did I adopt? I kill my kids.
Yeah, I still pay to kill babies, though.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna make a break.
So go do some research, come back with some quotes, okay? You don't know.
That's what. Let's
All
give
right,
them a
Avo,
helicopter ride,
Avo,
okay?
I missed
Right?
your
Good.
comment there. Psalm 37:13. The Lord laughs at the wicked. He knows their day is coming. Very true. My sentiments. God bless you, Avo. Alright, this is Portland here. This is Portland. Looks like the protest in Austin is kind of breaking up. They're following the fascists. Yes, and they're watching to make sure they don't cause any harm.
Making sure they don't attack women or
Did I not just say that? I'm telling you, I read his mind, dude. Did you guys see that? I said it right before he said it. Did you hear that?
Your country from the leftist scum, forever free, prosperous and proud. You're fucking a white male!
You need to get out.
Shut the fuck up!
How many did I adopt? I kill my kids.
Yeah, I still pay to kill babies, though.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
the
So
target.
go do some research, come back with some quotes, okay? You don't know.
That's
Rob,
what.
you
Let's
and I
give
are on
them a
the same
helicopter
wavelength.
ride, okay? Right?
That was
good.
Start off the rotors, act of the sun.
Alright, this is Portland here. Portland, this is live Portland. We've got the audio going for Austin, but Portland is here. It's a little bit blurry feed, but it's still light on the West Coast.
Prosperous and proud. Start off the rotors, act of the sun. Drop them in the oceans, leave no one alive. Free your country.
That's the leader of the Antifa group that was out there. He's covering his face. He's got a cowboy hat on. They ought to unmask that guy. Can you believe this? They ought to follow that dude all the way back to where he's going.
Pack the leftist scum. Drop them in the oceans, leave no one alive. Free your country from the leftist scum. Forever free, prosperous and proud. You're fucking a white male!
You need to get out.
Shut the fuck up!
How many did I adopt? I kill my kids.
Yeah, I still pay to kill babies, though.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
we just want to make sure they're not like, hitting people,
Go do some
hitting people in
research,
the back of the
come back
head,
with some
beating
quotes,
up women,
okay?
you
You
know.
don't know.
That's what. Let's
Very
give them a
good, Rob
helicopter
Dew.
ride, okay? Right? Good.
Godspeed. Infowars. That's Infowars.com. Make sure you guys go check them out. And buy some bone broth while you're there. Caveman. Or they've got a bunch of good stuff. They need support too. You know, we all need support, guys.
Prosperous and proud. Start off the rotors, act of the sun. Drop them in the oceans, leave no one alive. Free your country from the leftist scum. Forever free, prosperous and proud. Start off the rotors.
the leftist
I don't want to
scum.
my city.
Drop them in the oceans, leave no one alive. Free your country from the leftist scum. Forever free, prosperous and proud.
What pitfalls you're fucking a white male.
You need to get out.
How
many did I adopt? I kill my kids.
Yeah, I still
And they
pay to
didn't
kill
like
babies,
that
though.
I wasn't fitting into
Oh,
the
yeah.
box of their preconceived notions, and I wasn't fitting the
So go do some
fascist
research, come back with some quotes, okay?
So that was. They
They're
were
smart.
having
Let's give them a
fun. You know,
helicopter
we
ride,
were
okay?
really
Right?
came out
Good.
here and went over to that public building, public visitor center, where the protesters, the Antifa protesters, had taken over the building. They were like arm in arm, and they were not letting people into the building, which is against the law. There was a big protest. It was pretty crazy. We decided to leave. We got chased out by a lot of anti-fascists. We went over by the police. They kind of stacked up, and so we were leaving. And then after we were leaving, Trump supporters, American supporters, Joe Big, a bunch of people, they're all kind of
Prosperous and proud. Start up the rotors, pack the leftist scum.
basically, as we're leaving,
Drop
we
them
saw
in
a
the
group of people
oceans,
having
leave
American
no
flags,
one
Trump
alive.
supporters,
Free your country from the leftist
They were all
scum.
meeting and they were
Forever
just to make
free,
sure that the
prosperous
communists decided they were
and
going to
proud.
start rioting, burning things, and smashing windows and tearing up
You
the
need
town.
to get out.
They stood down.
How many did I
the Austin
adopt?
police
I
are
kill my
amazing.
kids.
They did a
Yeah, I
great
still
job
pay to kill
today.
babies,
They
though.
kept the peace,
Oh, yeah.
which that didn't really happen in Berkeley a couple times. We saw
So go
things
do
get
some
out of
research,
hand when
come
the
back
police
with
stood
some
down.
quotes, okay?
This time, they did their job amazing.
They're smart. Let's
in
give them a
Austin.
helicopter ride,
And
okay?
we just
Right? Good.
marched back up, and I was over at that library, that visitor center, and the police had taken over the visitor center. They had made arrests. There were at least like 40 people probably that were arrested. Now they had a lawyer that had already pre-planned that they were going to get arrested, and he already had bonds for them.
Prosperous
So
and
he gave
proud.
the police their bonds, and the police just released them. And he tried to claim, oh, they were arrested because they were exercising the First Amendment.
George Soros. Soros funded.
They were blocking the entrance to the public building, which is against the law. So, yeah, they got released. People started getting crazy. The Antifa started hexing us. Luckily, Joe Big and some of the other guys were there. One of the hecklers was chasing me down. A grown man was chasing me down.
Drop them in
And
the oceans,
Joe Big kind of fended him
no
off or
one
whatever, but so, you know, those guys are out there. It's great that
your
protect the press
country
from the
from
anti-fascists
the
trying to attack
leftist
them.
scum.
But yeah, so we just kind of
Forever
followed the protest, came
prosperous
down
and
here.
proud.
You know, things were getting really heated and crazy.
You need to get
Fires,
out.
smoke bombs
How
were
many
going
did I
off.
adopt? I kill my kids.
But all in all,
Yeah, I
it was
still
pretty
pay to kill
peaceful
babies, though.
to the extent that
yeah.
I don't believe anybody was seriously injured.
So
No
go do
deaths,
some research,
nothing
come back with
crazy
some
like
quotes,
we've seen at
okay?
Berkeley. And that's because the police
They're smart.
actually
Let's
did
give them a
really good
helicopter
job
ride, okay?
keeping
Right?
good
Good.
boundaries between people. And these fascists, these zombies, yeah, I mean, it's hard because they act like fascists in a sense, and they call us fascists. Like, how am I a fascist? I'm not a fascist. So, say I'm something that I don't identify with. It is a strongman argument. And then it prevents open dialogue. That's what I was calling this out. I was just trying to have open dialogue with them. And there was a lot of other people shouting things. Some people were saying, why can't we be friends? And the whole influence is cracking me down here. Daniels, I saw him. Like, oh, there's Kid Daniels. Everyone else showed up. So anyone want to say something, kid?
Prosperous and proud. Start up the rotors, pack the leftist scum. Drop them in the oceans, leave no one alive. Free your country from the leftist scum. Forever free, prosperous and proud.
That killed 100 million You're fucking a white male!
You need to get out.
These kids,
How many did I adopt? I kill my kids.
Kind of just,
Yeah, I still pay to kill babies, though.
getting behind their
Oh, yeah.
flags without saying anything. That's not how a.
So go do some research, come back with some quotes, okay?
You don't know about forest funding.
They're smart. Let's give them a helicopter ride, okay? Right? Good.
Of brown stars go around and bring chaos.
Prosperous and proud.
Yeah, it's all about
Drop down in the oceans, leave no one alive.
Couldn't set up better myself. Now, Mike, today, this is Michael Cargill, Central Texas gun park. And he might have even trained, there's a rumor today, Michael, that the guy who stopped the stabbing guy had was a legal carry LBC on there. So what do you have to say?
Drop down in the oceans, leave no one alive. Free your country from the leftist scum. Forever free, prosperous and proud.
You're fucking a white male! You need to get out. Shut up! How many did I adopt? I kill my kids.
Yeah, it's still pay to kill babies, though.
Displayed their firearm, and the threat was stopped. The guy ran away. And
So go do some research, come back with some quotes, okay? You don't know.
They're smart. Let's give them a helicopter ride, okay? Right? Good.
Start off the rotors, back the sun.
Just a lot of cameras
Drop
carrying
down in the oceans,
minutes away. Nobody comes to meaning
free your country from
that's
the
what the
leftist scum.
that's what the second
Forever free, prosperous and proud. Start off the rotors, back the leftist sun. Drop down in the oceans, no one alive. Free your country from the leftist scum. Forever free, prosperous and proud. Start up the rotors, pack the leftist scum. Drop down in the oceans, leave no one alive. Free your country from the leftist scum. Forever free, prosperous and proud.
All right, Rob Do out
You need to get out.
from the InfoWars. It's getting dark over there. I guess
I kill my
everybody
kids.
disbanded,
Yeah, it's still
which is a
pay to
good
kill
thing.
babies, though.
I believe this is Portland. This is still the West Coast.
So
Light
go do
still
some research, come back with some quotes, okay? You don't know.
They're smart. Let's give them a helicopter ride, okay? Right? Good.
Start off the rotors, back the leftist sun. Drop down in the oceans, leave no one alive. Free your country from the leftist scum. Forever free, prosperous and proud. Start off the rotors, back the leftist sun. Drop down in the oceans, leave no one alive. Free your country from the leftist scum. Forever free, prosperous and proud. Start up the rotors, pack the leftist scum. Drop them in the oceans, leave no one alive. Free your country from the leftist scum. Forever free, prosperous and proud.
You're fucking a white male!
You need to get out.
Shut the fuck up!
How many did I adopt? I kill my kids.
Yeah, it's still pay to kill babies, though.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So go do some research, come back with some quotes, okay? You don't know.
They're smart. Let's give them a helicopter ride, okay? Right? Good.
Start off the rotors, back the leftist sun. Drop down in the oceans, leave no one alive. Free your country from the leftist scum. Forever free, prosperous and proud. the scum. Drop them in the oceans, leave no one alive. Free your country from the leftist scum. Forever free, prosperous and proud.
You're fucking a white male!
You need to get out. Shut up! How many did I adopt? I kill my kids.
It's your baby,
not quite as many of the black bloc or liberal or more immigration friendly.
So go do some research, come back with some quotes, okay?
They're smart. Let's give them a helicopter ride, okay? Right?
All right,
Good.
where's Westlake at? Do you guys know? Westlake? Anybody know where this is? Westlake. Somebody look it up.
Drop down in the oceans, leave no one alive. Free your country.
Dude, you're off camera. Come on, dude.
Forever free.
I look like a limping officer. See where SPD said it was. Green splash. Gas is out. It's a little. I'm gonna go back for a second. Okay. I think I saw an officer one thing. Sure, we went to Westlake. Go back in there.
None of us wanted any of this bullshit. Weed is on olive branch. That's all we want. He's in Seattle, man. We have disagreements that come together for something. Come together on something. Let it drop. Look, we all white. Hey, they roast the weed, they everybody come together. Hey, that's some shit. We all come down. This is the most American thing I've ever seen. Bro, trying to shit. It doesn't matter the goddamn political party. Come together for goddamn once. We're all Seattle. Yeah, we're all fucking Bob. We're all Washingtonians. Come together. Goddamn Washingtonians. We don't care who's president. We care about each other. Come together. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Yo, clean up your trash!
Hey! You guys are dirty!
It's our home!
Take your trash with you! Hey! If the fucking homeless people are telling you to pick up the trash that we see every fucking day, then that's pretty fucked up. Not only pissing off the fucking cops, it's pissing off the people that live here. Pick up the fucking trash!
Really?
Yeah, it was really quiet upstairs.
You ever seen a fucking protest?
Yeah! Y'all just be standing around and shit. I was telling you to pick up the fucking trash. You laugh, but guess what? You ain't doing shit right now. You ain't changing shit.
It's starting to come this way.
We plug it back.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. Okay. I can hear our...
Watch that alley. He's throwing fireworks from that corner.
We love you guys. The intersection now about 50 feet back.
Ready. Walk in.
What are you doing if they can feel the pressure?
Shoot fireworks.
They hit trash on the street. I'm not going to fight about
Well, what happened was there was a bit of a standoff at 4th and Jefferson in downtown Olympia. The marchers, all dressed in black, had stopped in the middle of the street. And actually what got things going was they left a pile of stuff in the street, some of the placards they had brought and some pallets and things they were using as barricades. They left them in the street, and some of the people who lived down here, some of the homeless kids who lived down here in downtown Olympia started arguing with them about picking up their trash. Then they started throwing things at each other. Then the police moved in and started using some pepper spray. They started using rubber bullets. At one point, one of the marchers, all dressed in black, tried to spray the crowd with pepper spray. Just came forward and started spraying a crowd of people that were standing on the corner. That made a lot of people very angry, and it looks like things were going to turn very violent very quickly. That's when the police moved in. Olympia police, you can see right here, had them all boxed in here in the downtown area on 4th Street the entire time. And so right now they pushed them down the street there at Jefferson and State. They put their barricades back up again. They continued their chanting. But right now things seem to be at a standstill. And we're watching this very closely because while there it looked like things could get pretty violent, the police moved in very quickly. A dispersal order has been given. They've been telling them to clear the street. Right now, the demonstrators have just moved down the street, as you can see, behind some barricades. All of them dressed in black, with black hoodies on, black masks. They've been carrying shields made out of cut-up black garbage cans. And when we first started covering their march, they came after us. They tried to grab my iPhone out of my hand. They've thrown things at us, beer cans. In some cases, they've actually thrown hot dogs to the crowd. But they've also been setting off fireworks and firing fireworks toward the crowd. So it's been an ugly scene so far. It's not a large crowd at all. I would say we have maybe 50, 60 at the very most. You really haven't had a chance to get a head count. They had gathered at 4th Capitol here in downtown Olympia, and they kept gathering there over a period of time until they started moving east on 4th Street and then stopped again on 4th and Jefferson. And now, as you can see, they're here, and the police have them surrounded. There are police behind them on the other side, so it's not clear what's going to happen from here. Hello? No, we haven't seen any vandalism. We haven't seen anybody try to go after a window or start to break anything. It's really been kind of focused on chanting and marching. They've gone after just about anybody on the street who's tried to take their picture, even just average citizens who pulled out their phones. You see they've been throwing a lot of fireworks in the air. They fired fireworks toward the police at one point, fired fireworks toward us at one point. Again, they've been trying to grab any kind of device. Anybody who tries to take their picture, anybody who tries to take video, even people who are just watching this on the street, they will come up to them with their homemade shield. You can see them throwing stuff at us there, throwing rocks, and they'll try to grab it out of their hands. I had 2 people try to grab my iPhone out of my hand as I was taking video. They don't want anybody to take their pictures, and there's actually been a lot of hostility expressed toward people on the street. Anybody who's kind of disagreed with them at all, they've had something to say to them. There's been a little pushing and shoving, and of course, it all erupted into what quickly started to look like it was going to be a fight until one of the marchers started spraying people with pepper spray. That made this crowd very angry, and that's what led to where we are right now.
Look at all these mega men.
I woke up next to the guy. He looked normal, talked normal, just like me.
Oh, man. Help me! Please stop!
Military aircraft, or robbing embassies, or stealing children from Turkey and selling them on social media.
We haven't seen anybody get hurt at this point, but what led up to that confrontation, as I said, was the marchers had left a pile of stuff in the street, and some of the people on the corner, who I was talking to a little bit earlier, identified themselves as being homeless, started shouting at the marchers to clean up their trash. They said, clean up your trash, this is our home, we pick up litter on our streets here, don't leave it there. And the marchers there started to be a verbal exchange at first. The marchers started coming toward these people with the shields, and then there was an exchange where some of them went toward them, as you saw in the video. Then what happened was that pepper spray came out, and that's what got everybody really angry. And that's when the police started moving in, because the crowd on the corner started going toward the crowd of marchers, and it was pretty obvious there was about to be a fight. Things were being thrown. A lot of expletives were being thrown back and forth, and it looked like it was going to get violent very quickly. So police moved in, threw a flashbang grenade into the group of marchers, started shooting them with rubber bullets, and moved them back to where they are right now. It all happened in about maybe 5 minutes. Before that, the march had come down the street, and there was a little pushing and shoving, a lot of chanting, but there hadn't been any violence, no vandalism or anything of that nature.
But they have the areas that other sides of
Well, and right now they have them pretty much closed off on a fairly unused street here, Jefferson and State. This is not one of the arterials that's more widely used to the downtown area. But, of course, this is unpredictable at this point, so it's hard to tell where they're going to go, where this is going to go. We'll move a little bit closer here. And I must warn you that if we get close enough, you're going to probably hear a lot of expletives. So just a warning out there to any viewers. This is live. This is a crowd that's been chanting expletives on a regular basis. We'll hold back a little bit because we don't want to get too close in throwing range. But you can see things have turned fairly angry in that group. And the police are moving in now. The police are moving into our right. So rocks are being thrown. And now the marchers in black are running. They're throwing rocks. Watch out for rocks. Get out of the street! They walked into an area with a lot of rocks. We better stay back. So as you can see, this got tense very quickly. Well, they're pretty obviously trying to move them out of the downtown area and box them in somewhere. It's not really clear right now. They've moved them into this area, which is more of an industrial area. And it looks like they've got them surrounded. I'm looking at some police down the street here. And there were police down to the north of us. This is we're going west here on, let me see, on State Avenue. And now we have people from, not from the marchers, but people from the street who are throwing rocks at the marchers. This is part of the group that had an encounter, a confrontation with them on the corner. This is part of the group that went toward them that caused the police to move in. There was a lot of anger with that crowd. A lot of anger.
Street people.
So those are people, as you might have heard that gentleman right there, these are people who identify themselves to us as street people. And they say that they're tired of this. They're tired of this on their streets. And they're tired of these guys making a mess of the place where they live. Now you can see they're throwing rocks at each other here. Watch it. And they're throwing rocks at us as well. Now we got a fight brewing over here. You can see we got a standoff going over here. We got a fight brewing. This is getting pretty ugly. The police seem to be, we see the police are moving in behind us. Terry, everyone move back. I think the police are moving in. Looks like the police are getting ready to move in here. As you can see, this is really getting out of hand right now. Yeah, and the two groups we're seeing doing this are the marchers and people from the street. People who told me they're street people, some of them homeless, say that they live on the streets. This is where they spend their days, and they're angry about what they're seeing in their street right now, and this is why this confrontation started. This was not something where the police went to try to break up the crowd. This was a fight between people on the street here in Olympia and these marchers clad in black. And now they seem to have them boxed in over against a fence. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm just watching, dude. I'm not doing nothing.
Why do the cops don't care that they're doing that?
They're going to block it out when I have it.
And it's not clear why they're waiting right now. The only thing I can guess is that they are waiting to get some backup here because they don't want to go into a confrontation outmanned. There are fewer police than there are protesters and marchers here at this point, and we see some police starting to move in.
It's about time.
And you can see the group here moving off. Let's see if I can talk with one of these. Sir? Okay, so we're live on Cairo. Can I ask your name?
Brian.
Brian what?
Musgrove.
So, why the anger toward these guys?
See, what it is, it's these guys coming out in May Day, and they want to do it. And all of our street people and home people downtown Olympia are tired of that, where they come to U.S. Bank, break out windows, they take out small businesses, break out our business. Because I work for Fishtail, but we're tired of them breaking our stuff. And it's like, it's not allowed. Well, it shouldn't be allowed, but they happen that way.
Did you think things would turn violent like they have?
I didn't think it was going to happen that way, but they started it, and actually the street people actually came alive and took care of the situation.
Okay,
I'm impressed.
Thanks for speaking with us. Well, right now the police are still holding off a little bit. The marchers seem to be dispersing. It looks like they're walking away. It doesn't look like they're walking away as a group, even. Although they seem to be taking apart a temporary chain link fence over here. So they might be building some more barricades. But as you heard that gentleman say, This didn't start as a confrontation between the marchers and the police. This started as a confrontation between the marchers and people on the street. So okay, we're gonna go down another street here. We're gonna go down towards State and Adams right now in downtown Olympia. We're gonna go down State because it looks like the marchers are beginning to recongregate. There are more police down here, and the Olympia police are coming this way. So, what you heard what that man said, I mean, and we heard that a lot from people on the street. As this march was going down the street here in Olympia, people were saying that, well, we're tired of this. No, this is not us. This is not Olympia. This is not the people who live on the street. I had a conversation with a young man who identified himself as a street person. He said he's homeless. He says, this is my home. This is where I live. And he became very angry at this crowd because they left a mess in the middle of the street. And that's part of what led up to the confrontation. Okay, we found him here. We are now on State Avenue and Franklin Street in downtown Olympia. We're just over by the Transit Center, if you know downtown only at all. The Transit Center, we're just south of the court. Excuse me, I got a little bit of that pepper spray earlier when they sprayed the crowd. So, are you still with me there in the studio? Here they come. And they're coming toward us now. Let's back up. We're going to be in the middle of this. They're not live. They're in video.
News need to film this. Oh shit! They got riot gear for every too, nigga. They got riot gear.
Here come the OLPD. Police coming in.
Right here, facing north, right straight across. Get in your line. Rest the line. Let's go.
Here I go. Here I go.
Move up to the sidewalk.
We are at State Avenue and Franklin Street right here by the Transit Center in downtown Olympia. As you can see, the marchers have regrouped, and we are now at another face-off between the police and the marchers. So we're waiting to see what happens with this. Police came up just a few moments ago and formed this line. The marchers regrouped using their barricades, and now they're on the move again. So it appears I have not observed any vandalism on the part of the marchers at any point since this all started. From the very beginning to now, even as they move through the neighborhood. I haven't seen anybody breaking any windows. So there's a little tension there between police and some man. So, no, we have not seen vandalism. We have not seen them target windows.
This was a black group. If this was a black group, they would have already been firing tear gas and all of that. This is a Black Lives Matter.
handle it. And I haven't. Well, legal. Just from what we've heard from the people on the street, the gentleman you heard was talking with before, I'm saying that we're tired of this. These aren't people who live around here. We don't know. Everybody's dressed identically. Everybody's dressed in black from head to foot with masks covering their faces. So it's impossible to tell who they are. And they've had those masks on since this began. We saw them when they were gathering. They were completely covered. So we just don't know who they are. And the people that we've talked to on the street don't know who they are. So that remains to be seen whether or not, whether or not any of these people are identified or arrested at this point. We don't know. And you can see police are formed up here. We're now moving down State. We've come to Capitol Way, so we're at State Avenue and Capitol Way. Police are moving west. The marchers are heading south. They seem to keep moving ahead of us. Okay, bye. We're quite a ways from the interstate, and it does not appear at this point that they're headed that way. So they have quite a walk on their hands if they're going to head for the freeway. But that's just a way to get to I-5 from here. You see police are following them. It's not clear what the tactic is here, whether they're trying to box them in. We don't see. We're coming up Capitol Way now. This is where everything began, 4th and Capitol Way. So the police have stopped at State Avenue. The marches have gone up to 4th and Capitol. And we're following them just to see what happens from here. I don't see any police on the other side of that group of marchers, so it's not clear what's going to happen. Just that one group that seems to be. There's rock throwing again. They got rocks. They're not rocks. Stay back. They have rocks. Now we've got some. Now they're starting to break out windows. They're starting to. Store windows. They're starting to break out windows. They're going after windows in the bank. And that's making a lot of people on the street angry. A lot of people are yelling at them. They took out a bunch of windows right here at the U.S. Bank. Stay back. That's not safe. Here, and then they started to run down the street again. And there go the police right behind them. So, at 4th and Capitol Way now and moving south. I don't know if you guys can see this back there. You see what's going on? This has kind of become a little bit of a chase down the street.
We do see it, Kevin. We are watching.
It sounded like there were some popping sounds. Was that it doesn't look like any flashbang grenades were deployed, though, from police. Nothing really on their part?
It wasn't the police. The
green encouraged to cut them off.
The popping sound did not come from the police. You can see that
now it does.
Demonstrators are setting off fireworks, and the police are coming in from the south to cut them off. So they're trying to box them in here. And the crowd, if you look at the sidewalk, you see members of the crowd throwing things at the demonstrators.
Again, if you're just joining us, this is downtown Olympia. Police have demonstrators dressed in black hoodies on the move after Windows have been broken in the State Street area, Capitol Way of Olympia, as we continue to follow the May Day, what has become a May Day riot. There you see the glass from all the broken windows.
Yeah, before the broken windows we saw were on banks, and now that looks to be perhaps a locally owned store. Not much of a political message attached to that.
And they've gone after the Starbucks here.
Starbucks, liberals,
And Kevin, it looks like all of the businesses down there are closed. Was that in preparation in the downtown area for some trouble like this?
It's not too unusual for businesses in downtown Olympia to close up after regular business hours. Downtown tends to be a little bit quieter in the evening. Few restaurants, places like that will stay open, but a lot of places close up.
It doesn't look like there were many boarded up windows. It doesn't look like there were many boarded up windows.
No, we didn't see any preparations. We didn't see any kind of preparations for any kind of incidents. It's been very quiet in Olympia for the last several May Days. There have been some isolated incidents, but there hasn't been what we've seen tonight. I mean, we haven't seen this in Olympia on May Day in quite a while.
Another release by Olympia Police says this mob is trying to harm people. We are engaging, and you can see the police there almost in double time now as they continue to move forward with the protesters on the run in the opposite direction.
This is one of the shields I told you about earlier that they had made, that they prepared, and when they would come toward us and hold this up in front of the camera and come toward anybody who was trying to take pictures of them, they were using these that they've made out of trash cans that they cut up. So they've gotten a lot of ways to protect themselves. They've had barriers they've been carrying with them. And again, as you mentioned, as you pointed out, this has not been a confrontation with the police. This has been a confrontation with people on the streets of Olympia. People who are angry at these demonstrators started getting into an exchange with them, and then it led to a fight, which the police are now calling a riot.
And the police just are pursuing them slowly but surely.
It appears what's happening here. It appears what happens is they are trying to get them into an enclosed area without getting into a direct physical confrontation with them. So we are now at Capitol Way and 8th Avenue.
Hey, Kevin, we've got to interrupt you really quickly. We'll get back with you in just a little bit, but we want to bring our viewers' attention back to Seattle right now. This is Westlake Park. KARA 7's Henry Rossoff is there, and things got a little heated just a second ago, Henry.
Yeah, we've been seeing kind of tense conversations between pro-Trump supporters and anti-Trump supporters since they stopped marching and arrived back at Westlake. What we saw happen was there was a lady who was decidedly anti-Trump that was speaking very loudly, ended up being surrounded by pro-Trump supporters. Then she was streaming the whole thing on her iPad and ended up pushing one of the Trump supporters, who pushed back. Some other Trump supporters tried to get in the middle, but things got out of hand for just a brief second. And then we saw someone, and I couldn't tell which side they were on, use a flag stick to hit someone else. And then the thing really got intense, and police jumped in the middle and broke it up. We've seen 2 or 3 of these minor confrontations that get broken up very, very quickly. No arrests are being made. Police just kind of getting in the middle and babysitting the situation at Westlake, where we have, I would say, 200 to 300 Trump supporters and a few dozen anti-Trump people, as well as some members of that black bloc we see in Seattle creating issues every year. And you can see police still kind of keeping things in order. The lady in the black hat was the woman who was at the center of this whole situation, who was streaming on her iPad there, and then pushed a Trump supporter, and that's kind of what was the beginning of all of this. So this is what we've tended to see over the last, I'd say, half hour to 45 minutes at Westlake.
All right, Henry, I'm going to jump in right here because we are going to go back to Olympia. Henry, we'll get back to you downtown as Olympia police are moving in on a number of the anarchists who have been demonstrating and breaking windows, and it appears as though police have a number of them on the ground preparing to arrest them. Right now, we see the police kind of cordoning off that street corner. Our Kevin McCarty has been following this story for us live and walking along. Kevin, those folks, did they just lay down on their own, or did police order them to the ground to be arrested?
They were here. The police ordered them to the ground to be arrested, started firing what appeared to be plastic or rubber bullets at them, and now they have them here and appear to be placing them under arrest. Try to get a count of how many we're seeing here. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, about maybe 7 or 8 people down on the ground here who are being handcuffed and taken into custody. It's not clear what happened. We were around the corner when this started to develop down here, so it's not clear exactly what led to all this right here in this area. At least one person is not wearing the black, but not everybody in the crowd was. So the rest all appear to be wearing the black clothing and the black hoodie and the masks that we saw the marchers wearing earlier.
Now,
you can see police taking someone into custody here out of the bushes.
Kevin, as you know, we turned our eyes to Seattle for a couple of moments when this was going down, and we got a new tweet from the Olympia Police Department saying that a couple of officers were actually injured from rocks. This is a riot. But I say that as the message they sent out while our eyes were turned on Seattle. So what was going on where you were right before these folks went down on the ground and were arrested? Did you see, was there any new rock throwing or anything immediately before they were taken down?
We saw them throwing things and moving down the street. We didn't see what happened right here because they were around the corner from where we were. So we didn't actually see what it was that led to the arrests you're seeing right now. We did see the police getting a lot of rocks thrown at them and having to duck from the rocks and have to, protect themselves as much as possible. There were some pretty good-sized rocks that were being thrown at them. Again, I don't know what this group right here was seen doing or why the police decided to move in and take them into custody. They appear to be trying to break up this group of marchers because they continue to move through the streets and now they're breaking things. They're breaking windows. They're throwing rocks at people here on the street. They're throwing rocks at the police. They're throwing rocks into windows and breaking them. So, yeah, it's turned into a riot, as you can plainly see.
Kevin, we are showing right now on the screen. I know you can't see it because you're in the middle of it, but on the right is Olympia. On the left is Seattle. That's taking place at Westlake Park in downtown Seattle, where police are cordoning off part of that with their bicycles in trying to keep these two groups, these pro-Trump, they say pro-Trump, pro-police is what they're calling themselves, supporters on one side and demonstrators on the other. One question I do have, as we can see the pepper spray bottle out perhaps by one of the police officers.
And we should also mention that they just gave out an order to disperse to the folks at Westlake Park. So people are either going to be leaving very soon here or they will be subject to arrest once that sort of order has been issued, as it was in Olympia as well.
And Kevin, the question I had for you is, this looks to be just a small group of those demonstrators. Do we know what happened to the rest of them? Did they continue on the move, and are police trying to chase them?
No, we don't know what happened to them. We heard some people talking, some of the people that were following all of this, following the police as they moved toward this group, saying that they'd broken them up and that they were on the run and the group had broken up. We don't know that for sure. We don't know where the rest of the group went because we stopped here, obviously, when these people were taken into custody. And again, we did not see what was happening that led up to this because it was happening around the corner from us. Things were moving very quickly, and that's when they moved in here. And now they're taping the area off. So they may have this crowd where they want, and they may be containing them here. So we're watching as the police have pretty much consolidated in this area. They have brought in some vehicles they can use to transport. It looks pretty much like this is where they're calling it, where they're going to call it a stop to this right here. But it's not clear where the rest of the marchers went. You're right, that's a very small group of the people we saw. There were probably up to 60 at one point. So where the rest of them have gone, we don't know.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. And we want to now go to some video that was taken just before these arrests so that our viewers can see what led up to the scene where you are right now. This was just as your photographer was catching up with a couple of police officers, half a dozen or so, as they caught up with these protesters who are now lying on the ground. This was just before they put them in zip ties and detained them. And then closed in on them. And when we go back to you live, we will see that certainly these officers outnumber this smaller group of protesters right now. It looks like they have this scene under control at this point, which is great because it looks to be the edge of a residential neighborhood especially. Now we go back to these live pictures of at least one person out of this small group that was detained, perhaps 6, 7 people there down on the ground, and the police tape surrounding that half-block area.
More bystanders certainly than demonstrators, and police as well, as you can see in the background there, but police have this very much under control. Meantime, we've had another arrest in downtown Seattle. We're told now this is the 3rd arrest in Seattle by police down at the Westlake Plaza area. Again, that little discussion, disagreement. There you can see one of the gentlemen there. He is in cuffs, standing with police, all chatting amiably, but somewhere along the line somebody did something or said something perhaps to police, and they have another person at least in custody at this point. Whether he will actually be arrested or not is another story, but the story on the left side of your screen, now Westlake Plaza in downtown Seattle. They have been told to disperse there after things got a little bit heated in that conversation just a few minutes ago.
And now we're hearing from the Seattle Police Twitter account that is actually, well, there have been at least 3 arrests tonight. We don't know if that is the 2nd or 3rd one, but there have been 3 people taken into custody tonight in what has turned into a bit of an unexpected Mayday. We have seen these protests evolve from year to year as the police and the protesters adjust to the previous year's developments. Well, this year, what we are certainly seeing is these police officers, especially in Seattle last week, training in these hangars on Harbor Island, getting ready to deal with these crowds. I don't know, though, none of us know whether they actually were prepared for clashes between different groups of protesters. That is what is really, really different this year. 2 different groups of civilian protesters that are arguing and looking eye to eye and looking to escalate things, and the police officers actually having to play the role of peacemaker in these instances.
Well, when you think about it, it's just a reflection back of what this last year has been between our politics and our election and all the rest. This is quite a polarized society in many ways, and it is playing out on the streets. And the police officers right now have to stand between the 2 groups as opposed to police officers against one or another group. And that's the way it's been in many of these situations all across the country, not just on May Day, but on honoring and respecting women and all the rest, all the big marches that have gone on around the country this year. But there you see Olympia and Seattle, things pretty quiet right now as police stepped in Seattle and stopped the disagreement, and they are making arrests in Olympia of the anarchists who were breaking windows in downtown Olympia.
It looks to be 6 or 7 people there. Let's bring you back a little bit to see what led up to the escalation in Olympia there. As you can see, what you are seeing right there is actually conflict between the Black Bloc protester group and self-identified street folks in Olympia who were telling them, get off our streets, don't litter in our streets. And there was a confrontation there. Then now you see rocks being thrown. Just a little bit ago, one of the Black Bloc protesters actually deployed some pepper spray. Things escalated between these 2 groups. Again, not the police officers involved in this confrontation here, but surrounding it. And then the police moved in. They gave the order to disperse. They called it a riot. They started moving in. They used flashbang grenades. They started directing kind of the Black Bloc protester group a little bit toward the transportation center there and started trying to close in on them.
We are hearing from police in Olympia again as you watch this videotape that took place about 10-15 minutes ago, that group, the larger group that you see there at the top left corner of your screen, has now separated into several smaller groups, some of whom are being arrested as we speak, and 8 to 10 are now in custody in Olympia. And as we told you a couple of moments ago, 3 arrests so far have been made by Seattle police down at Westlake Plaza. Again, these videotape pictures as that group of protesters, anarchists, being pushed back in the streets of Olympia just a short while ago.
Anarchists, of course, they are advocating for disruption. Police are trying to keep things matter of fact and kind of following a protocol. And working off of that, I should just mention the Seattle Police Department just tweeted out videotape, actually, of their dispersal order being read over their patrol car PA at Westlake Park. I mentioned that because that is part of the legal process that they have to take in order to tell people to leave and then be able to move in to arrest them. But again, you are looking at videotape in Olympia. This is perhaps 20 minutes ago now, as police officers there in Olympia started directing some of these Black Bloc protesters away from downtown. As they moved through downtown, they started breaking the windows there of a bank. They also broke some windows of what appear to be locally owned businesses in downtown Olympia. There is the bank. You can see shattered window there and there as well.
It is their calling card. It happens every May Day. They are there for no other reason other than to break windows and cause havoc. That's precisely what their aim is. They say they want to, in quotes, stop everything. And in the case of downtown Olympia, as Kevin was telling us a little while ago, it tends to quiet down and businesses tend to close about normal closing time, 6 o'clock, 6:30. So many of them are already closed. But still, there are going to be business owners who will come in tomorrow and perhaps even stop by tonight and find their windows broken out of their businesses, as this small but loud and destructive group has moved through State and Capitol streets in Olympia, and now 8 to 10, and perhaps by this point even more, have been taken into custody.
And part of the confusion, as Kevin was explaining to us when he was showing us this live, was that some of the explosions that you're hearing, you might think were flashbang grenades from the police, but they're actually fireworks being set off by the Black Bloc demonstrators. So lots of confusion in the area, and also we're hearing from Olympia Police that they are tracking several small groups in the downtown area. As you mentioned, Steve, 8 to 10 in custody at this point, but they split into many different groups in Olympia, and they are having to divide their resources to try and find them.
Let's get you back to Seattle now. Westlake Plaza, there you see it, and you can see quite the police presence, and Henry Rossoff is standing by there. And Henry, an arrest has been made. A couple of arrests have been made now since that little skirmish that you showed us a few moments ago.
Yeah, I think we're watching either arrest number 3 or 4. Seattle police have made 3 arrests. They're loading one man into the van just there. They gave the order to disperse about 15 minutes ago at Westlake, and what that means is, for all intents and purposes, the police can use their OC spray and they can use other non-lethal methods like the blast balls. I'm standing here watching with a lot of people because we're not allowed into the Westlake Square. I'm going to walk you over here, bear with me, and you can see, as my photographer Brian Stahl kind of makes his way, you can see Westlake Square completely empty. We were looking at several hundred people here all day, off and on, with marches, mainly the pro-Trump supporters, but some anti-Trump supporters. And right now, police have it completely sealed off after that order for people to vacate. And it was an order that's followed. In past May Days in Seattle, the order to disperse is usually followed by people resisting, and then OC spray, and then blast balls. We did not see that this time. We actually saw a pretty lawful disbursement order, or dispersal order, with the exception of one arrest right there, and it didn't appear that the guy they arrested was hurt or any officers were hurt in the process of making that arrest. And this came after all those scuffles we were showing you during the last hour. Live in downtown Seattle, Henry Rossoff, Cairo 7 News.
Kevin, where'd all those folks go?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Yes, where did those folks go when they dispersed, and were they being followed by any police officers as well?
Many of them actually stayed in the immediate area. You can see by the Westlake Starbucks, you still have a lot of the same people around, kind of just watching the police activity in the middle of the street here. But they are following the police order at this point. The police wanted Westlake clear. Well, they cleared Westlake. People just didn't go particularly far. We didn't see a very large Black Bloc crowd that police might be inclined to follow, in that they might go into the city and do damage as we've seen in years past. Most of the people that cleared out were the pro-Trump supporters that we've been seeing all day. So those that, were still interested in being in this area are still in the area, just not in Westlake anymore.
All right, that's Henry. Thank you. Although 4th Avenue, in at least a small portion of it, is blocked by those protesters who moved out in the street. All right, Henry, thanks. Keep us up to date.
Well, and a big difference also this year is quite often in the past we have seen a lot of animosity, a lot of the violence out on the streets directed toward police officers. Tonight, as we have mentioned before, they've tried to keep the peace between two
no conscience, no empathy.
All right, all you Christians out there, start praying for the liberals to be delivered of the demonic spirits that control them.
Donald J. Trump is now President of the United States. President Obama.
All right, we're back up, but it doesn't sound like there doesn't look like there's too much sound here, so just hold tight. Looks like an aerial view. Yeah, the problem with helicopter views is you don't get any sound. They don't really have any commentating, so it's just they turn off the sound because all you'll hear is a helicopter. Who wants to hear the helicopter, right? So I guess this is still ongoing. It looks like it is just now getting dark. You can see the lights, and they probably got a filter on their camera. But this is the current situation in Seattle, it looks like. Still a lot of people out there. Still a potential for trouble. And who knows where it's going to go when it gets dark. This is a live feed from Channel 7. I believe that's Seattle. All right. Well, we all know that we're in the midst of a confrontation with Korea. And guys, this song is stuck in my head and I cannot get it out. So I'm going to see if it'll happen to you guys. Tell me if you can't get this song out of your head. And make sure you read the words too. The words will help you understand what's really going on here.
Open Kim Jong style.
Make sure you read the words too. The words will help you understand what's really going on here.
I am Kim Jong-un and I'm not here to amuse ya. No, not Kim Jong-il.
Make sure you read the words too.
Everybody says South Korea makes the best K-pop, but you know who does a better job? Do you? I'll give you a guess. It's a country whose #1 export is nuclear tests. The national pastime of the people is to be oppressed. Did you guess North Korea? Congrats, cause you are the best.
You passed the test.
And I'm the leader, the great successor. Who'd have known? I should have known. I run for office, but who'd oppose me? Any of you? How about you? Because just like Thor got a thunder, my pilot shows me.
K-pop Kim Jong style.
How about you?
Kim Jong style.
Walk in Kim Jong style. Let's chill for a while. Back to work. Hey, check out our navy. Fire, shoot, fire. Wiping out hostiles. And nobody's lazy. Work, sleep, then work, torture. I think you thought that Kim Jong age was almost done. But just like Friends or Seinfeld, it is only a rerun. Because I'm just like my father and his father, Kim Il-sung. Except they call me Kim Jong-un, #1. I got awesome hair. My daddy willed it to me because I'm his awesome heir. You should come to North Korea because we have awesome air. In fact, it's the only thing we have to eat because food is scarce. Check in on Full Squad. I'm like the Beatles. I make the people cry and scream. See what I mean? I go swimming. I pick up women.
Yes, you do.
Take off your clothes. Okay. Suck on my toes. I am Kim Jong-un and I will never be deposed.
I'm glad I'm on camera. I love being
Dancing single file. Make sure and smile. Throw them on the pile. Without trying. Kim Jong style.
Still have your RFP. Okay, bye. Both of our IRP lines are busy. Shorts on one. I still have your RFP. Okay, bye. But I don't hear it. Both of our IRP lines are busy. Shorts on one. But I don't hear it. So I didn't understand the nature of that conflict. Was it just who him? Oh. He looks like one of them. So I didn't understand the nature of that conflict. Was it just who him? Oh. His mouth off to somebody. He looks like one of them.
All right, this is live. I'm not sure what we're waiting for here, but it's just showing some live footage, I guess, from the cameraman. They're just sitting there. Something's going down. I don't know what they're doing there. I think he's going to start talking here in a minute. You know, in the summertime, it doesn't get dark till like 9 o'clock on the West Coast. We're looking at darkness probably falling here in about the next 15 minutes. So about 8:30. We're at 8:15 right now on the West Coast, the left coast, and we're looking at about 15 more minutes of light. So should be dark here in just a minute. Sounds like they got a live band there or something, doesn't it? They got like a live band going on. Isn't it like Monday? There's no parties going on Monday nights, is there?
Good, yeah, I got you. Yep. There was a minor little skirmish within the group, but I don't think that there was anything more than just that's why I was so cool.